Today I'm going to talk to you about premarital sex. I realize that sex is not the most popular topic, but it is important to understand the extreme consequences of having sex before marriage. How many of you feel that talking about sex is awkward? How many of you know someone who has had premarital sex or is having premarital sex? My guess would be that most of you do know someone who is engaged in premarital sex. As teenagers, your life is full of interaction with the opposite sex, especially at school. It is quite easy, after entering a relationship with someone of the opposite sex, for your sexual purity to become compromised. The temptation can come about in a number of ways. It can happen at parties, being alone on a date, and even from peer pressure. Let's look at what premarital sex is. As defined by Webster's New World College Dictionary, premarital means occurring before marriage. As it relates to our topic, it means sex before marriage. You may ask, how does my decision to have sex affect anyone but me? Premarital sex affects you as well as others. It can affect your partner, your family, and even your friends. You may not have considered the impact that premarital sex has on your life and the consequences it may bring, but you should. I became interested in this topic after I became pregnant at the age of 19. Premarital sex is a serious issue that should be eliminated by proper education and guidance. In order to prevent premarital sex, we will consider the problems it causes, how it can be prevented, and what you can do as an individual to prevent the temptation. Premarital sex causes physical and emotional consequences. It causes problems in the life of your loved ones, as well as interfere with your future plans. The physical consequences of premarital sex can be pregnancy or sexually transmitted diseases. Emotional damage includes losing something you can never get back, leaving you with regret for not saving yourself for your future spouse. These consequences can alter your life in many ways, such as an unexpected pregnancy, possibly with someone you do not plan to marry. No birth control is 100% effective. You can contract sexually transmitted diseases which can be passed on to your future mate and prevent you from giving blood or becoming an organ donor. And it sometimes can be transferred to a woman's child during pregnancy. And furthermore, some STDs can kill you. Now let's look at some statistics related to premarital sex. Premarital sex affects many Americans. According to truthdig.com, a study performed in 2006 found that out of 38,000 Americans, 95% have engaged in premarital sex. The same study found that the number of people engaging in premarital sex has been fairly consistent from the 1950s on. Menstuff.org reported that in 1999, teen pregnancies were 50 births per 1,000 girls. This number does not include all the pregnancies that occurred, only births. Pregnancy is not the only consequence of premarital sex. According to Dr. Elizabeth Bosky, the most common STD is syphilis, and it is easily spread from one partner to the other. Now that we have looked at some consequences of premarital sex, let's talk about what can be done to prevent it. The solution to completely eliminating premarital sex is abstinence until marriage. Abstinence is a voluntary restraint from indulging a desire for certain bodily activities that are widely experienced as giving pleasure. Some ways to stay abstinent are keeping yourself from tempting situations. Have someone you can talk to that will help keep you accountable. So what can happen if this problem continues to occur? While interviewing 3 teenagers, I learned that all 3 regretted their decision to have sex before marriage. One of those teens was diagnosed with an incurable sexually transmitted disease. Another became pregnant and dropped out of high school. All three thought that nothing that awful could happen to them. So, what can you do to prevent this problem from happening to you? It's quite simple. Commit to abstinence until after marriage. Just say no to sex before marriage. Don't put yourself in compromising situations. And don't give in to peer pressure. As we have seen, premarital sex has detrimental consequences that can leave lifelong effects. So avoid all consequences by committing to sexual purity.